Welcome back to the Crash Course Podcast. My name is Craig Crash Collins, joined as always by Brandon Scott. You know him as B. Scott. Well, this past weekend, we crowned the girls' state champions. Now let's hit the reset button. We're going to do it all over again because it's time for the 2024 Indiana High School Basketball Boys State Tournament. So we're going to do what we do, what we've done the past few years, where we're going to break down the winners for all 64 sectionals. We're going to go through the sectionals one by one, tell you who we think is going to win each sectional, and then ultimately give you our state champions for all four classes of Indiana high school basketball. So we're going to give you basically everything you need to know. Of course, games already going on right now on Tuesday because of how the schedule fell. We're doing this kind of on the fly as games are happening. And so there's games going on as we record this on Tuesday night. There's going to be games going on as we release this on Wednesday afternoon. Of course, we're getting you all ready for the sectional championship games and sectional semifinals Fridays and Saturdays, and then of course on throughout the rest of the tournament. So a lot of action-packed basketball already happening, B. Scott.
Yeah, I mean 99 games tonight alone. Just looking at some of these scores, some big blowout wins, some really tight games for the first round of sectionals. So yeah, just a reminder to people though, we are recording this on Tuesday night, the first night of sectionals, and releasing on Wednesday, the day after. So some of these games have not yet been played. Some of these games are currently in progress, especially for the ones that have not been played. If you hear us pick your team to win the sectional and for some reason they lost on Tuesday night, that is the reason we are saying their name as a pick to win.
And you can blame us for why they lost.
There is such a thing as the crash kiss of death. So
exactly. So there's some games. Hey, look, I use that to my advantage in some instances where I was like, you know what, I don't know who to pick, so I'll see. As far as like who I think's coming out of this sectional, so I'll base it on whoever wins a certain game. So a lot to get to tonight, and you know what, I don't know if you've got all your picks locked in as far as who you have winning. I have my four state champs. I think I have. Let's see. I think I have three teams that have never won a state championship before. I've got one team that hasn't won in a couple of decades, just to give you a little bit of hint. But I feel confident. I think this is going to be a really fun tournament, and it's already, I'm sure, been a fun tournament for all the teams that are already playing.
One team that hasn't won in a couple of decades.
Yeah.
So is that your 4A?
No. So
okay.
But let's go ahead and kind of give you some fun facts for the tournament before we get into picking the sectionals here. Fishers, they're 22-1. They're the number one team in the state according to maxpreps. Number one in the 4A polls. Greenfield Central comes into the 4A tournament 22-0. They're 43-2 over the past two seasons. There are 8 teams with 20-plus wins this season in Indiana high school boys basketball. Whitgo of sectional 37 is the most improved team in the state record-wise, going from 5-17 a year ago to 18-4 this season. 3A Maconaquah has the best scoring offense in the state, averaging 76 points per game. 1A Orleans boasts the state's best defense, allowing just 34 points per game. Looking at last year's state champions, 4A Ben Davis, they're 17-5. They're 9th in 4A this season. 3A Northwood, they're 14-8 this season. 2A Fort Wayne Blackhawk, they're 18-6, 7th in 2A this season. And then 1A Lutheran, they're 13-8, 13th in 1A this season. So, I said my picks are kind of out there, but I think all four defending champs have a chance to repeat. I mean, they're all in pretty decent position to do that.
Yeah, it would be interesting, but I mean, I feel like this year there's a lot of wide openness. I mean, 4A is going to be a battle, and I'm really excited to see how things unfold.
What's wild is that it feels wide open, but there's literally, as we go through it, there's like 4 or 5 like death sectionals where it's like where you know what is, and it's hard to pick because you don't know. Okay, the team will the team that comes out of here win the state tournament like it kind of feels like it should be, or will the team that comes out of that sectional that's got like 8 ranked teams that feels like, will that team be so battle tested and beat up and bruised that they just run out of gas because of the gauntlet they had to go through in those 4 days, 3 days, whatever of sectionals?
It'll be interesting. We got 64 sectionals to run through.
Yes, we like doing it where we put us on the clock here. 64 sectionals in 64 minutes. One of these days, we'll put a clock up on the screen when we do this to try to actually mimic that. We're about almost 6 minutes into the show now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. We are going to start with 4A Sectional 1, East Chicago, the East Chicago sectional. And I'm going to start it off the way that, we always like doing it, with the home team. East Chicago Central. I've got them winning. Sectional 1 will be decided between East Chicago Central and Lake Central. Both are ranked in the top 25 in the state according to maxpreps. Lake Central is number 20. ECC is number 23. East Chicago has the 5th best offense in 4A, 6th in the state, averaging 70 points per game. Lake Central has the 9th best defense in 4A, 49th in the state, allowing 46 points per game. If it's the sectional 1 title game between these two teams, it's going to be a good one. But give me the home team, who put up 70 on that defense this February in a 17-point win. So East Chicago Central wins sectional 1.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking East Chicago Central as well. When things are as close as they are between Lake Central and East Chicago Central, I mean, look, on maxpreps, Lake Central comes in at ranked 19th and East Chicago Central at 20th. But I am going with East Chicago Central, home court advantage, and they just got that pedigree. They've made their run to the state championship before, so they know they've got that experience. I mean, it was a long time ago, but still, give me ECC.
Sectional 2, that is the Chesterton sectional. I'm going with Valparaiso. This one was tough. Crown Point and Valpo are both pretty equal. Both have a top 40, or both are top 40 in terms of strength of schedule. Crown Point has 16 wins, Valpo 18. Crown Point is 4-0 versus sectional opponents. Valpo is 5-1. But let's focus on that one loss. These two squads met February 9th, a 3-point road win by Crown Point. When these two teams likely link up in the sectional semifinals, I think Valpo avenges that loss. They also have Jack Smiley, who averages 24 points per game. That puts him at 12th in the state in scoring. So give me the Valpo Vikings to win sectional 2.
I'm going against you this time. Give me Crown Point. I don't really have any big reason. I just think when push comes to shove, I'm going to go with the higher ranked team in this situation. And right now, that's Crown Point.
Hey, I mean, sometimes it's better to just fade whatever I'm picking. I do I do like that, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it was really tough. It was a tough one to pick between those two schools. Both, that's likely going to be a sectional semifinal game, and I can see either one of those teams winning. Sectional 3, that's the Mishawaka sectional, and I'm going with the home team, but this isn't your typical home team pick, because normally we're just like, oh, the home team for whatever reason. South Bend Riley seems like the clear pick here. They're 20-4, they're 5-0 versus sectional 3 opponents with an average margin of victory of 15 points, but Riley barely outlasted an 11-11 Michigan City team by 2 earlier this year. And earlier this month, they were playing South Bend Adams. They were retiring Blake Wesley's jersey. Blake Wesley, if you don't know, plays for the Spurs. He's a South Bend Riley legend. So the gym's packed. Everyone's excited. This should easily be a Riley dominating game. Instead, instead it's just. They're playing a South Bend Adams team that's finishes with less than 10 wins on the season, but instead of being a game where Riley dominates, Adams led at one point. Riley struggled to pull away from them. So the point is that South Bend Riley has been a little sketch against weaker opponents here recently, and I don't trust them very much. So give me Mishawaka to win their home sectional.
I'm going South Bend Riley on this one. I just feel like they're the little bit more of a talented team. I mean, South Bend Adams, South Bend Riley, that's a rivalry. You throw everything out the window when it comes to those types of things. And South Bend Adams came in there knowing what the situation was for that game, that the crowd was going to be intense. The retiring of Blake Wesley's jersey. I mean, it everything. And so South Bend Adams wanted to play spoiler. So I'm not surprised there, but I'm going South Bend Riley to take home sectional 3.
The Elkhart sectional is where sectional 4 will be played, and I am picking Concord to win that one. The Minutemen boast the best defense statistically in 4A, allowing just 38 points per game. That's good enough for 5th in the state, and is far better than any of the contenders in the sectional, so give me Concord to win that sectional 4.
I agree. Concord, sectional 4 champs. Defense wins championships, especially in sectionals.
Sectional 5, that's being played at East Noble, and I'm going to go with Fort Wayne North. The 16-8 Legends are by far the best team record-wise in the sectional. East Noble is 12-10. Everyone else is below 500, so give me Fort Wayne North.
Same here. I'm going Fort Wayne North. Numbers don't lie. Records don't lie either.
Yeah. For sure. There's a lot of sectionals, especially once you get down in the lower classes, that are like, you know what? This is the only team that's above 500, so that's the one to go with, in my opinion. Sectional 6, the Homestead sectional. I'm going with Fort Wayne here. The Generals are 4-0 in sectional play with an average margin of victory of 21 points, so they've honestly dominated all the teams in their sectional, so I'm going with Fort Wayne in sectional 6.
Totally agree there. Fort Wayne, playing just really well against these opponents. Also, I love the fact that they're Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm going to go with, remember the old Peyton Manning SNL skit where they're picking March Madness brackets, and the girl he's against is picking because of mascots and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go with that route as well.
Hey, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're coming close, of course, to tournament time, and I'll ask people at work if they want to do a bracket poll and stuff, and they'll be like, I don't really follow college basketball, and the story I always tell them is that the guy that won it my freshman year in Rip Clevenger Hall, the guy that won it, like, literally, not only did he not watch any college basketball all year, he didn't watch any game the entire tournament. Like, we had to, like, go in and tell him, like, hey, you won. He was like, oh, didn't even know what was going on. So, I mean, look, sometimes going by that is a lot better than just overanalyzing it and, tinkering with it every 5 minutes. So, no, hey, sometimes that's the way to go. Just got to go on a hunch, got to go on the clever names. It's the way to be. It's the safer route sometimes. Sectional 7, the Lafayette Jeff sectional. This sectional may be the most unfun sectional so far. This is no disrespect to those teams in that sectional, but you've got the Kokomo Wildcats, the runner-ups from 4A last year. They're 22-3 with Kansas commit Flory Badunga, ranked 4th in 4A, 6th in the state. This is going to be a fun sectional, and everyone else is middling around 500. So, Kokomo easily in sectional 7. They're going to advance to the Sweet 16 of 4A.
Yeah, it's going to be Kokomo. And I love how you said this is going to be the fun one. You got the Mr. Basketball front runner, most likely, with Flory Badunga. Unfun. Yes, this one's going to be the unfun. It just kind of reminds, it took me back to my high school days, having that big college commit as your center and everything. But flip side, our sectional was very fun. With, at the time, Arlington was in there, and Arlington had a star player that almost single-handedly beat my high school earlier in the season, but luckily pulled that one out. But yes, Kokomo is no disrespect to the Lafayette Jeff fighting Nick Yeomans, but Kokomo takes this one.
Yeah, no, I think
now this next one.
Oh yeah, no.
Next one is a death trap.
For sure. Sectional 8, that's the Noblesville sectional, and I've got it here on the sheet. We go from unfun to extremely fun, as this sectional has 4 ranked teams in 4A, 3 of the top 4 teams in the state. Looking at the 4A rankings, this sectional includes number 1 Fishers, who is 22-1, number 2 Noblesville, who is 20-2, and number 3 Westfield, who is 19-2. Fishers averages 69 points per game, good enough for 9th in 4A, 14th in the state. Noblesville and Westfield are the 2nd and 3rd defenses in 4A, 10th and 13th in the state, respectively. Noblesville allows 41 points per game. Westfield allows 42 points per game. You also have Carmel, who's ranked as well.
Right now, I'm trying to find it. It keeps disappearing on me, but Fishers and Carmel are in a tight one right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I hope that Fishers pulls it out, because give me the number 1 team in the state to win one. They're 2-0 against Westfield and Noblesville, putting up an average of 59 points against those great defenses. So they've taken those defenses that hold teams in the low 40s, and they've put up nearly 60 on both those defenses. So that makes me really confident that they can score even when they go against the tougher defenses in the state. So give me Fishers to make it out of the gauntlet that is Sectional 8.
Yeah, okay, so right now I am going Fishers as well. Fishers is officially pulling away from Carmel. They're up 40-27 as we are recording. This sectional is just so crazy, because it wasn't all that long ago that Hamilton Southeastern was right up there in the conversation as well. Same thing with Westfield. I mean, this one, at one point in time or another this season, you could have pinned any of these teams to be a state champ for 4A. But I am going Fishers. Fishers just looks really, really good right now. And ultimately, I think they pull away in this one.
Yeah, hey, look, that's what I'm hoping. At least I'm hoping that tomorrow when we release this,
I would like the upset for Westfield. I would, just a little bias for living in Westfield.
I mean, we're not that far removed from them, winning their first sectional in forever. So,
led by
Braden Smith,
Purdue point guard Braden Smith. Yeah,
exactly. Sectional 9, the Greenfield Central sectional, and I'm going to go with number 6, Greenfield Central. They're an undefeated team, winning by an average margin of 19 points per game, and they're playing in their home gym, and they're undefeated, by the way. I think I mentioned that already, but hey, they're undefeated, if you didn't know that. Come on. I'm going with Greenfield Central here.
Greenfield Central takes sectional 9 for me as well.
In sectional 10, the Lawrence North sectional, the Fighting Brandon Scotts, they are playing host to sectional 10. And it's another sectional that will have a lot of fireworks. You've got 3 top 10 teams in the state. Lawrence North is number 5 in 4A. They're 21-3. Attucks is number 7 in 4A, 18-6. Cathedral is number 8 in 4A, 17-5. You've got 3 of the top 5 offenses in the state. LN averages 72 points per game, second in Indiana. They're first in 4A. Cathedral averages 72 points per game, third in Indiana, second in 4A. Attucks averages 71 points per game, fifth in Indiana, fourth in 4A. But I'm going to go with Attucks to win this sectional. Who between these 3 teams with the lead offenses has the best defense statistically in terms of points allowed per game. They're also 6-1 on neutral courts, including a win over Kokomo. They also came within a point of beating LN at LN. So I kind of like their track record. I kind of like their resume. So I'm going with the number 7 Attucks squad to win sectional 10.
I'm okay. So I'm going to go with Lawrence North here. maxpreps, who I'm looking at, has LN ranked 2nd in 4A. I think a little bit because of the home court, but I will be honest, that home court advantage LN used to have is just not there anymore. Looking at pictures
in my day.
Oh, seriously, looking at pictures of the games now, it's like the stands are a quarter full and like the student section is half full, whereas back in the early 2000s, it was like packed gyms, standing room only, student sections. I mean, one Operation Basketball student section of the year multiple times. It was nuts. Um, so that home court advantage is kind of gone. But I'm going Lawrence North here. That the offense has just been clicking. The only game that they really just kind of seemed to be off in was recently, and that was against Fishers. But give me the Lawrence North Wildcats to take sectional 10.
The Southport sectional is sectional 11, and I'm going to go with number 9, Ben Davis. The Giants are the only team in the sectional above 500 and versus 4A opponents. Plus, they have Northwestern commit KJ Wyndham, who averages 16 points per game. So give me Ben Davis to win sectional 11.
Yep, I'm going with Ben Davis here as well.
Sectional 12, the Terre Haute South sectional, and I'm going with number 11, Terre Haute North. The Patriots are 21-3. The other sectional 12 teams are middling around 500, so easy pick to go with North there.
Terre Haute North walks into Terre Haute South and comes home with a sectional championship.
Sectional 13, the Bloomington North sectional, and I'm going with number 10, Center Grove. Another sectional with a clear favorite. The Trojans are 17-4. Everyone else is close to 500 with at least 10 in the loss column. So give me Center Grove to emerge from sectional 13.
Yep, I'll take Center Grove there as well.
Sectional 14, the East Central sectional. I'm going with Franklin. The Grizzly Cubs are the only team above 500 against 4A opponents, 14-4 at that. So they've had a really good record, a really good resume. Give me Franklin to win that one.
You know, I got to go Franklin here because a friend of the show, Nathan Wilson, and his son, they live in Franklin now and are huge Grizzly Cub fans, have attended a lot of the home games this year, actually gone on the road to cheer on this squad. And I would love nothing more than for them to be able to bring home a sectional championship and for them to be able to enjoy that.
So the next sectional, I'm actually hopping over to maxpreps because I want to see the score. And we do have that score between Jeffersonville and Seymour. Jeffersonville wins 45-27. So that gives me
a clear choice.
A clear choice because I wrote it down in the list here because that game started at 6:00. So we record this around 8:00. So I put it in the notes as winner of Seymour versus Jeffersonville. So that's Jeffersonville, who averages 64 points per game. That's 17th in 4A, 35th in the state. Seymour had an averaged 42 points per game. They were 4th in 4A, 15th in the state. So I did have the Owls winning this one. Because Seymour had won 40-39. Back in December, and I think I'd still go with the Owls there, but Jeffersonville is actually the team that ends up winning that one. So Jeffersonville, I think, will go on to win sectional 15.
Yeah, I'm going Jeffersonville here as well. That this matchup was going to be the ultimate decider of this sectional championship, and Jeffersonville kind of took that one pretty handily. So give me Jeffersonville.
The final sectional in 4A is the Evansville North sectional, and I am going to go with Evansville Harrison. The 18-4 Warriors are the only team in S16 that has a record that. The 18-4 Warriors are the only team in S16. I
think you're trying to say their record is
8-4 versus
the best record in the sectional against other 4A opponents.
Right, yeah, I wrote that terribly. Evansville Harrison is 8-4 against 4A opponents. That's the best record, better record than anyone else. Jasper is next best at 4-3, so they're far and away the best. What I'm trying to say is Evansville Harrison, sectional 16 champs.
Yep, I'm going Evansville Harrison here as well.
So before we move on to 3A, I'm going to go ahead and give my state champ here for 4A. And I'm really hoping that Fishers has remained out front because they are my champion to win 4A. I really wanted to go Kokomo here. Flory Badunga is one of the best players in the country. The Wildcats made the state finals last season. I think they're going to be hungry to get back there, especially once they get through kind of like, I want to say a tune-up sectional, but they're gonna get back to the Sweet 16 with relative ease. They're gonna be ready. They're gonna be hungry to get back to the state finals. But I was between them and Fishers. And when I did a little bit more digging and saw that the Tigers beat Kokomo by 22 on a neutral court earlier this year, I was like, all right, fine. We're going Fishers there. So I have the Fishers Tigers making a run to their first state title in program history. So give me the number one team in 4A to remain the number one team in 4A.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Carmel is only down by 8 now. No. I really, really want to go Lawrence North here, just because, well, they have a really good team, and I just feel like their offense is really good, but Fishers is just so well rounded and have really taken care of business really against everybody. Only one blemish on their record. It's just I feel like they're on a roll. Um, so I'm gonna go Fishers here ultimately.
All right, so we
But don't
are.
be surprised if the Lawrence North Wildcats make a run and cut down the nets.
Well, I mean, like I said before, I mean, there's a lot of. I don't think there's a clear cut choice in any of these classes. Like, there, you could go with anybody. Like, who, if the Fishers could very well lose in the sectional, I wouldn't be surprised. With how, I mean, even with Lawrence North, I mean, whoever comes out of the Lawrence North sectional and the Noblesville sectional, I could see either of those two teams that comes out of those two sectionals winning the whole thing, because those are just
I
how tough
don't
those
know.
are.
So because it's not a clear bracket, I'm not sure the if Lawrence North and Fishers would meet up prior. I don't believe they would. I think they would actually meet at Gainbridge.
Yeah, I don't know if it's top. I would imagine, because the top half of the
Because I
bracket,
think
that's had what.
usually like Hamilton County is considered the north. Hamilton County North is one side of the bracket, and Marion County South is the other side of the bracket typically.
If I'm kind of judging based on um how the brackets are numbered, I would imagine it goes like the top 8 are, because it goes, because isn't it north south, the like that's how it goes, like whoever wins basically the south plays whoever wins the north.
Yeah,
So I was like, I think the top 8 and then it's the bottom 8. So I think it would be a possibility. If I could be completely
but it
wrong,
used to be. I mean,
but
it used to be different too,
right.
because when I was in high school, we played Muncie Central for a state championship, and I believe Bloomington. I want to say North. No, no, it couldn't have been Bloomington North. We would play in the semi-state.
I mean, I know Cowan is bounced around. I know it's not necessarily the same thing, but I mean, Cowan used to be in the Southern Wells sectional. That's when one of my one of my high school friends, like, it was legitimately, that was the team. When I was in high school, we had a team that could potentially have won the sectional. We actually, so much so that we actually made an effort to go to the sectionals, because normally, like, my friends and I were like, we're not gonna go watch them lose by 20 in the first game. So we went, and one of the guys that was in our class, they lost that game, and he was like, I'm not making it to the NBA. I'm like, we didn't think you were, so you're good. But yeah, that's the only one I went to. So I know they used to be in the Southern Wells one. They played at the Westo one for a while, because there's not a Westo one this year, but yeah, they bounce around and move around quite a
Yeah,
bit.
and then because we would also play Carmel a lot of times in the regional finals. That was when regionals was 2 games instead of one, and semi-state was just 1 game, because our regional played at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and it was like the morning would be against Pike or North Central or somebody, and then the evening was against like Carmel. So that's why it's really it's not really sure how it breaks down,
Right.
but I would, if it'd be nice if it was Lawrence North versus Fishers. I do know last time Ellen made a run to the state championship, they did play Carmel, who they lost to, but I mean that was not that long ago.
Right.
So
Who knows? But yeah, we both have Fishers. We're on the Fishers train, so we'll see. Hopefully that one pans out. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, real quick, because we need to move on to 3A. But B Scott, congratulations, you were 4-0 on your state finals picks for girls basketball. I
Oh
forgot to mention
wow.
that. Yeah, the only reason I'm 3-1 is because you and I were different on not Bedford. We're different on Brownstown Central and Lures. I had Brownstown Central, you had Lures, and Lures won. So you were 4-0. So good job.
Wow.
Moving on to 3A. It starts in sectional 17 with the Calumet sectional. I'm going with number 12, Hammond Knoll. We're kicking off 3A with a toughie, but I'm going to go with the Warriors because they're battle tested. They're 17-7, but are even better than that record indicates. They're 15-3 versus the state of Indiana. 4 of their losses coming to schools from Illinois and Michigan. And they're 6-0 versus 3A opponents. Other 3 losses coming to against 4A schools: Cathedral, Valpo, and East Chicago Central. So Hammond Knoll's actually a pretty tough team. I think they'll win sectional 17.
Yep, give me Hammond Knoll there as well. I feel like their experience playing up in against talent from 4A, as well as playing talent from other states as well, gives them an edge here.
Sectional 18, the Tippecanoe Valley sectional. I'm going with the home team because the home team is the only one in the sectional above 500. So Tippecanoe Valley, you're moving on.
Yep, Tippecanoe Valley.
South Bend, Washington. That's sectional 19, and I'm going with number 16, South Bend St. Joseph. Number 10, Mishawaka Marion, who is 16-8, and number 16, South Bend St. Joseph, who is 15-9. They're on a collision course to play in the sectional semis, and the winner will win sectional 19, in my opinion. South Bend St. Joseph lost by 3 at home to Mishawaka Marion earlier this month, so I'll just fade that result in the rematch. They're also 4th in 3A in scoring, averaging 68 points per game, which is 17th in the state. So I'm going to go South Bend St. Joseph to win sectional 19.
Give me Mishawaka Marion. I like they're just ranked higher. Sometimes you just got to go with the higher ranked opponent, and they've beaten. I'm going Mishawaka Marion. Yeah, move on.
That's just one of those coin flip ones. So I can't fault you there. Sectional 20, the Lakeland sectional. I'm going with Northwood. They're the defending 3A champs. They're 4-0 in sectional play, and everyone is 500 or worse. So Northwood gets back to the Sweet 16.
Yep, give me Northwood. You are defending champs until otherwise dethroned.
Sectional 21, the Woodland sectional, and I'm going with Woodland. The home team is the only team above 500, so pretty easy to pick those.
Yeah, 3A. We're just moving right through here. Give me Woodland as well. I mean, winning records matter.
Oh, they really do. Sectional 22, the hot dog sectional. It's at Frankfort. I'm going with Twin Lakes. It's a toss-up between the Indians and West Lafayette. Twin Lakes has a top 50 scorer in Jamison Owsley, who averages 20 points per game. That's good enough for 42nd in the state. Also, the Indians beat West Lafayette by 20 in January, so give me Twin Lakes to win sectional 22.
West Lafayette's going to want to avenge that 20-point loss in January. I'm going West Lafayette here. Like you said, it's a coin toss, so give me West Lafayette. Besides, I used to live in West Lafayette.
There you go. West Lafayette's pretty good. Mississinawa, the sectional 23. I'm going with number 15, Maconaquah. The Braves have the top scorer in the state, Josiah Bell, who averages 30 points per game. He scored 50 versus Western earlier this month and has a 45-point game under his belt as well. Maconaquah has the best offense in the state, scoring 76 points per game. They are going to work their way through sectional 23 and advance to the regionals.
Yeah, I'm going with Maconaquah here too. It's a huge difference when you have somebody that can just go out there and just put points up on the board all night long. That's going to go a long, long way. And that offense is really good. So give me Maconaquah.
Sectional 24, that's in Newcastle. I'm going with number 6, Delta. The 18-6 Eagles boast the third best defense in 3A, allowing just 42 points per game. That's good enough for 14th in Indiana. They're also 9-1 versus 3A opponents. The best record amongst sectional 24 schools. So Delta moving on.
Yep, I'm going with Delta here as well. Good old shout out to the old school Delta takedown tournament, preseason tournament of the wrestling season. So give me Delta.
Sectional 25, moving right along here. That is the Lebanon sectional. I'm going with number 2, Danville. The Warriors are 18-3, 11-0 versus 3A opponents, and 6-0 versus sectional 25 teams. They've also beat Tri-West, the second best team in the sectional, twice by double digits. So Danville, pretty easy choice to win sectional 25.
Yeah, I'm going with Danville here as well.
Moving on to sectional 26, that's the Owen Valley sectional. I'm going South Vermilion, and that's let's see. I'm looking to see what the score is because they should be playing as we speak. I don't know if we'll have a score update for that one.
A lot of them are just saying in progress.
Yeah, that's the problem with doing max preps. I have this problem when I do the live kind of like reaction stuff with football, is that a lot of them either they don't update regularly, like you have to just actively remind yourself to redo it. But I'm gonna see if maybe John Harrell has it real quick. But yeah, it's I got South Vermilion. I think they are the best team in that sectional. Let's see if we got any sort of game day scores. It won't probably say that it's a final, but maybe it'll at least. Nope. Okay, so the only thing it says is the Owen Valley West Vigo score. So it's not gonna say one, so that's fine. But it said so right now anyway. South Vermilion and Indian Creek will be doing battle as we're recording this. It's 9:07, so that game could be over. Those two are the best teams in sectional 26. I am going with the Wildcats, who have won their last 6 games, whereas Indian Creek has lost 7 of their last 9. So South Vermilion is the hotter team right now. I think they win sectional 26.
Give me the hot hand of South Vermilion.
I'm looking at the next one here. Okay, cool. The team that I have picked in the next bracket, I caught their eye, and it was one of those things where I was like, wait, did they lose? And so they did not, though. So sectional 27, the Garin Catholic sectional. And I'm going with number 3, Brebeuf. The Braves have a top 50 scorer in Butler commit Evan Haywood. Haywood averages 21 points per game. Brebeuf also averages 70 points per game. That's second in 3A, 8th in Indiana. The Braves are also ranked 19th in the state according to maxpreps. So Brebeuf moves on, sectional 27.
You know, this one's going to be pretty good. Garen's got a pretty good squad themselves as well. But I'm going with Brebeuf. Used to coach at Brebeuf. Got to go with the Braves.
Yeah, I think they're going to be the team that ultimately advances there. Garin is going to be a good is going to be a tough out though. Sectional 28, the Beech Grove sectional. I'm going with Purdue Poly because come on, they're the Techies. That's a fantastic mascot. You talked about going by the mascots earlier, but also they're the only team in the sectional above 500, both in sectional play and overall. So give me Purdue Poly to advance.
I'm going with Purdue Poly, and I just love that. You know, this school, it wasn't that long ago. It was not in existence, and it finally became a member of the IHSAA, and they've held their own very well throughout, like whether it be, I mean, I have experience against them in wrestling, but you know, seeing them here up and competing in basketball, and I'm picking them to win the sectional championship as well. So, you know, hats off to the Purdue Poly Techies. Way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think they still don't even have football, don't they? They've been doing pretty well.
I do not know.
So anyway, they've been killing it for sure. Sectional 29, that's the Greensburg sectional. I'm going to go with Lawrenceburg. The Tigers lost at Greensburg by 4 in 2 overtimes in late January. Lawrenceburg has the 8th best defense in 3A, 27th in the state, allowing 44 points per game. And I think they win the rematch, which is likely to happen in a Friday semifinal. So give me Lawrenceburg to come out of sectional 29.
I'm going with the home team, Greensburg. Toss up, and it landed on Greensburg for me.
For sure. And I mean, it's always, whenever the home team is good, it's tough to pick against them. Sectional 30 is the Scottsburg sectional, and I'm going to go with number 1 Scottsburg. The number 1 team in 3A has the 2nd best defense in the class, 11th in the state, allowing just 41 points per game. They also beat all other sectional 30 opponents by an average of 38 points. So give me Scottsburg to come out of sectional 30.
Yep, I'm going with Scottsburg here as well.
Sectional 31, that's the Princeton sectional. I'm going to go with number 4, Heritage Hills. Heritage Hills is 11-3 versus 3A schools, the only team in the sectional with double-digit wins versus the class.
Yeah, I'll take Heritage Hills as well. I kind of wanted to pick Princeton, but no, give me Heritage Hills.
The final sectional of 3A is sectional 32. That's the Boonville sectional. And I'm going to go with number 5, Evansville Memorial. Memorial is 17-5. Everyone else is no more than 2 games above 500. So Evansville Memorial moves on.
Yeah, give me Evansville Memorial here as well. On maxpreps, they got them ranked as the 2nd best team in 3A.
So the state champ for 3A for me. Again, like 4A, there's a lot of different ways you could go with this one. I wanted to go with one of the 2 best offenses in the class, Maconaquah and Brebeuf, and decide based on who has the best defense. Brebeuf allows 54 points per game. Maconaquah allows 66 points per game. So I think Evan Haywood and Brebeuf get it done and bring home the school's first boys hoops title since 2000. So give me Brebeuf to win the Class 3A title.
I like where your head's at. I'm going with Brebeuf for 3A as well. But I think this class is probably the most wide open, to be honest. I mean, there's just a number of teams I could see hoisting or cutting down the nets at Gainbridge, but I'm going to go with Brebeuf right now.
See, I disagree with you. I think 2A is the most wide open, and we'll get into it.
One of the most wide open,
right, for sure. But I think the most wide open is 2A. And we'll go ahead and transition on over to 2A. Starting in sectional 33, that's the Bowman Academy sectional. And I'm going to go with number 15, Gary 21st Century. The Cougars are 3rd in 2A in scoring, 13th in the state, averaging 69 points per game. So give me Gary for 21st Century to emerge from sectional 33.
Yeah, I'm going with Gary 21st Century as well. Or is it 21st Century Charter Gary?
They go by a couple different things, I think. So
got it.
I've seen a couple different things. Like they go by something different, I think, on Twitter too. Because there was a couple times where I tried to search them. Yeah, so it's Gary 21st Century is what they are on John Harrell. So
got it.
Yeah. So sectional 34, that's the North Judson sectional, and I'm going to go with number 9, Hebron. The Hawks are 21-2. One of those losses coming against 4A Portage. No other team in the sectional is above 13 wins, so I think Hebron comes out of sectional 34.
Yep, I'm going with Hebron here as well.
Sectional 35, that is the Westview sectional, and give me Westview. The home team is 8th in 2A, defensively 32nd in the state, allowing 45 points per game. They also have the best record in the sectional and beat the second best. They beat the team with the second best record in the sectional, Central Noble, on the road by 16 earlier this season. So whenever you have, the best record in the sectional and you beat the second best team by a pretty wide margin, feel pretty confident in you. Give me Westview.
Yeah, I'm going Westview here as well. Defense matters. Home court advantage matters as well.
Sectional 36, that's the Lewis Cass sectional, and give me Wabash. Why? Because they're the only team above 500.
Easy. Give me Wabash as well.
Sectional 37, that is in Bluffton, and this might be the chaos sectional in 2A. You have 5 of the 7 teams with 18-plus wins. You've got number 5, Fort Wayne Lures, who is 18-5. They're 9th in the class offensively, 25th in the state, averaging 66 points per game. You've got number 6, Manchester, who is 18-4. They're 7th in 2A offensively, 21st in the state, averaging 68 points per game. You've got number 7, Fort Wayne Blackhawk, with all their state championships. They're 18-6, 11th in 2A. Offensively, 30th in the state, averaging 65 points per game. You've got number 12, Adams Central, who's 19-4. They're 5th offensively in 2A, 19th in the state, averaging 68 points per game. Then we already talked about Whitko, how good they've improved. Whitko is 18-4. They're 1st in 2A, 7th in the state, defensively allowing 40 points per game. It's tough in this one. The answer is probably Fort Wayne Blackhawk, given their history and what they've been able to do. But I'm going to go with Adams Central. The Jets have the best offense and the Jets have the best offense between the 4 scoring juggernauts that we already mentioned in the bracket, and are mere decimal places away from having the best defense of the 4. Adams Central allows 50.3 points per game. Manchester allows 49.5 points per game. Whitko has the best defense all around, but I just don't think they have the best offense to keep up. So I think Adams Central is the most well-rounded team in sectional 37, and that's why I think they ultimately come out of sectional 37.
Bishop Lures brought home the state championship for girls. The boys team is now inspired by that, and they want to bring home some hardware themselves. Give me Fort Wayne Bishop Lures.
I was glad you said that, because I was thinking about that before I sent you the Zoom link. I was like, that's a JMV stat if I ever heard one. Find what school has won the football state championship, girls state championship, and boys basketball state championship all in the same school year, because that's what Lures would be trying to do. That's pretty incredible if they can get that done. So Lures is your pick for sectional 37?
Yes, it is.
Alrighty. Sectional 38, that's the Lafayette Central Catholic sectional. And I'm going to go with number 14, Clinton Prairie. Both the Gophers and Seeger have top 50 offenses. The Gophers and Seeger have top 50 defenses in the state. Seeger allowing 45 points per game. That's 10th in 2A, 38th in the state. Clinton Prairie allows 46 points per game. That's 15th in 2A. 50th in the state. The Gophers, however, have the offensive edge, averaging 59 points per game to Seeger's 51, which is why I'm leaning Clinton Prairie. Also, I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to go back to maxpreps here, I'm pretty sure they were getting beat by like 30 also tonight. So that's another good reason to not pick Seeger. I am not picking Seeger to win this one. I'm waiting for it to load here. Let's see, what was it? Adams Central did win the night. Let's go. So that pick isn't wrong. I know I saw it. Where are you?
I thought I saw Lafayette Central Catholic was playing.
So maybe, yeah, Lafayette Central Catholic beat Seeger, was leading Seeger 71-34. So that defense did not serve Seeger very well tonight. So I am going with Clinton Prairie to win sectional 38.
You know what? Give me Lafayette Central Catholic. If there's one thing that I have learned, is that Lafayette Central Catholic will always kind of just creep up and be there contending for a state championship. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not. That's fair. That's completely fair.
It's just one of those things. It's like everybody always wants to pick against them, and then guess who's playing for a state championship? Lafayette Central Catholic.
And I mean, what their performance tonight, I mean, like I said, Seeger's got a great defense, and they put up 71. So, I mean, that's honestly, can't argue against it.
Nope. So give me Lafayette Central Catholic to bring this one.
Sectional 39, that is the Tipton sectional, and I'm going to go with number 1 Tipton. The number 1 team in 2A boasts a record of 21-2 they're at home. It has the 4th best offense in the class. They score 69 points per game, which is 15th in the state in that category. They also have a top 50 scorer in Nolan Swan, who averages 20 points per game. Also, they're ranked 13th in Indiana according to maxpreps, the highest non-4A school. So give me Tipton to come out of sectional 39.
Yeah, I'm taking Tipton in this one as well.
Sectional 40, that is the Alexandria sectional, and I am going with number 3, Wapahani. The Raiders have the 10th best offense in 2A, 26th in the state, averaging 66 points per game. They're led by Isaac Andrews, who averages 26 points per game. That's 7th in Indiana. They're 20-2, the team with the best record in the sectional of any of the teams in that sectional. They have the best record. The second best team record-wise is Lapel at 18-5, and Wapahani, when they played in December, doubled them up 70-35. So that's all I need to see. Wapahani advances from sectional 40.
Give me Wapahani, or as my dad liked to call them at the track sectional back in high school, walk behind me. But yeah, I'm going Wapahani here as well. They're having a really good season, so I'm going with Wapahani.
Sectional 41, that is the Hagerstown sectional, and I'm going to go with Northeastern. They're 5-0 in sectional play, the only team in sectional 41 with a winning record, and a win versus sectional opponents. Shenandoah, a winning record versus sectional opponents. Shenandoah is 12-10, but 0-2 versus sectional in 41. So give me Northeastern to advance.
I'm taking Northeastern here as well. That record against your sectional opponents, that's big when picking these winners.
Gives you a big indication on what you're going to see potentially in the bracket. So, sectional 42, that is the Triton Central sectional, and I'm going to go with Triton Central. The home team is 7-0 versus 2A teams, and is the only sectional 42 team with a winning record and is above 500 in sectional play. So, give me Triton Central to advance.
Yep, I'm taking Triton Central here as well.
Sectional 43, that is the Sheridan sectional, and I'm going to go with number 11, Park Tudor. Park Tudor and University are both 3-0 versus 2A opponents, the best records of sectional 43 schools, but Park Tudor is 17-5, University is 11-2. So give me Park Tudor to advance out of sectional 43.
Taking Park Tudor here as well.
Sectional 44, that is the Greencastle sectional, and I'm going to go with number 13, Park Heritage. The Wolves have a top 50 offense and defense. They're 14th best in offensively in 2A, 41st in the state, averaging 64 points per game. They're also 12th in 4A defensively, 45th in the state, allowing 45 points per game. So they're a strong team. Park Heritage, they're going to advance out of sectional 44.
Yep, I'm going Park Heritage here as well. That offense is just humming right now.
Sectional 45, that's the South Ripley sectional, and I'm going to go with the home team. South Ripley, the Raiders are at home and are 5-0 versus sectional opponents. So South Ripley moving on.
Yet again, the record against your sectional opponents really stands out to me as always. I'm going South Ripley here as well.
Southwest Hanover is the host of sectional 46, and I'm going to go with number 2, Brownstown Central. The Braves have Purdue commit Jack Benter and have the best offense in 2A. They average 70 points per game. That's 7th in Indiana. They're ranked 17th in the state according to maxpreps, the second highest ranked non-4A school. They'll have a doozy with the home team, who is a 20-win team in the semis on Friday, but give me the Braves to come out of sectional 46.
Did you know Jack Benter earlier this year broke a backboard?
Did not know that.
Yes, he's known for being a shooter, but he broke a backboard on a dunk earlier this year. So because of that, I am going Brownstown Central. Not just because of that. That offense is really, really good. And if just look, Purdue likes to recruit shooters in every class, at least one. And in this class, it is Jack Benter. And if you look statistically, Purdue is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. Matt Painter's not going to recruit somebody that can't shoot as his primary shooter. So Jack Benter is really, really good. So I'm going Brownstown Central here.
Sectional 47, that is the Paoli sectional, and I'm going to go with number 10, Sullivan. This one will be fun. You've got 3 teams with 18-plus wins. Sullivan is 18-5. Paoli's 18-5 as well. Linton Stockton's 18-4. Narrowing things down, Linton and Sullivan are both top 50 in the state defensively. Sullivan allowing 46 points per game, which ranks 11th in 2A, 42nd in the state. Linton Stockton allows 46 points per game, which ranks 14th in 2A, 47th in Indiana. They both average 59 points per game offensively, so luckily they have a head-to-head. And Sullivan beat Linton by 13 in December. So I'm going with Sullivan to win sectional 47.
I'm going with Linton Stockton because it just seems like when it comes to this time of year, Linton Stockton is one of those schools that you are consistently hearing about, and that goes a long way. Having that kind of pedigree goes a long way. That tradition. So yeah, give me Linton Stockton.
The final sectional of 2A is sectional 48. That's the Forest Park sectional, and I'm going to go with North Posey. The Vikings are 5-0 versus 2A opponents, 5-0 in sectional play, including a 9-point win over the host school in January. Forest Park has the second best record in the sectional, only behind North Posey. So give me North Posey to win sectional 48.
I'm taking North Posey here as well, but it could be a fun one.
For sure. So, state champion. We'll see if we're aligned on this one as well, B. Scott. Because, like I said, I think this is. I personally do think this is the most wide open.
This was the most wide open.
Because you could go with Tipton, who's number 1, the highest ranked non-4A school in the state. You could go with Wapahani, who has an amazing scorer in Isaac Andrews. You've got Brownstown Central, who has Jack Benter. Only reason I don't know where he's at is because Brownstown Central doesn't upload their stats to maxpreps, so he's probably even higher than some of these guys as far as stats wise. You could go with, we forgot all about, Adams Central, who we talked about. If you go that route, you could go the route with Fort Wayne Lures. You could, whoever makes it out of sectional 37. So there's a Fort Wayne Blackhawk, kind of gets forgotten about with even all their, hit success. They're the defending champions and have won like 3.
And they've got a Purdue recruit as well. He's a walk-on, but
yeah. So they've
younger brother of Purdue backup center Caleb First.
They've got a lot of history and state titles to their resume. So there's a lot of different ways you could go here. I actually, fun fact, when I was going through this outline, I actually skipped this part and went on to 1A because I thought I forgot that I picked 1A Fishers, and so I didn't think I had a 1A team. So if I had forgotten that, I was going to pick Tipton because I was like, well, I got to have at least a number 1 on the board. But then I remember I had Fishers, so I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to worry about, because you have to pick one number 1, I think, to make your predictions at least feel a little bit better. So I'm gonna go with number 3, Wapahani. They like I said before, they've got the 26th best offense in the state, averaging 66 points per game. That's 10th in 2A. Isaac Andrews is a stud. He's a top 10 scorer in Indiana, like we mentioned earlier as well. But also their defense is ranked 12th in the state, as they allow 41 points per game, 4th in 2A. So they've got a top 10 offense, a top 5 defense, a top 10 score, and the best winning margin in the state, beating teams by 24 points a game. There's a lot to love about Wapahani. They haven't been past the regionals in their program history, but I think they get it done this year. They win their first state title in boys hoops.
I'm really tempted to take Fort Wayne Bishop Lures here, just because they brought me home the victory. But I'm going Brownstown this time around. I just think shooting goes a long way, and when you have a threat like Jack Benter out there, that really helps. But honestly, this one's such a toss-up. On Max Preps, Brownstown's ranked number 1, so I guess I'm going with the number 1 team here as well. But I'm not going to be surprised, honestly, if we're talking 2 totally different teams come to the state championship preview.
Yeah, I'm interested to know. Heck, it might even be 2 teams that we didn't even mention tonight. Who knows? 2A is super wide open. So, one more class to go through. We've been aligned on 2 picks. We both have Fishers. We both have Brebeuf. Then you had Brownstown, and I had Wapahani. So we'll see if we align here. We'll see if we're different on 2 of them. Class 1A, it all tips off with sectional 49. That's the Coots sectional. And I'm going to go with number 5, Morgan Township. The Cherokees are 7-0 versus 1A opponents this season. Everyone else in Sectional 49 has 3 or more losses against sectional opponents, so give me Morgan Township.
Yeah, I'm going Morgan Township here as well.
Sectional 50, that's the Triton sectional, and I'm going to go with number 8 Triton. Why? Because the home team is the only team above 500 in the sectional, so give me Triton.
Yeah, I'm going Triton here as well. That record matters.
All right, sectional 51. That's the next one we need to keep an eye on score-wise. Let me see if I can get that
I'm looking right now, trying to find it.
Okay, because that's another one that started at 7. We're now at 9:30 recording on the night. We're going to be past 60. I think it's the first time we've ever going to be past. It says missing score, so on maxpreps. Let's see if John Harrell has it at all. John Harrell, hello. In overtime, Elkhart Christian over Bethany Christian, it looks like.
Okay.
So there's your answer there. And I was going to pick Elkhart Christian, so I feel good about that one. Because what I was going to say is Bethany Christian and Elkhart Christian have essentially the same record. They're 12-11 and 13-9 respectively. Elkhart Christian lost at home in overtime to Bethany Christian in February, so I think they're going to avenge that loss, dealing Bethany Christian a home loss of their own.
Which
so
they
it's
did.
kind of in overtime. So look at that, how the turntables, as Michael Scott would say. So Elkhart Christian will go on to win that sectional. They're going to advance out of sectional 51.
Yep, I'm taking Elkhart Christian as well, mostly because of tonight's victory.
Yes. Sectional 52, that's the Caston sectional, and I'm going to go with Tri-County because at 11-11, make a wish, they're the only team without a losing record in the bracket. So give me Tri-County to advance.
Taking Tri-County here as well.
Sectional 53, Southern Wells, that's the host of that sectional, and I'm going to go with Fort Wayne Canterbury because they're the only above 500 team.
Yep, same here, Fort Wayne Canterbury.
Sectional 54, Fountain Central. I'm going North Vermilion. They're the only above 500 team.
Same again. Give me North Vermilion.
Yeah. So, Class 1A, off to not the greatest start, but I'm turning it around here with kind of a heartfelt pick here. Sectional 55.
Craig Crash Collins.
The Tri-Central sectional, and you know what? I never do this. Because usually Cowan, well, first of all, I can't do it in football because Cowan doesn't have a football team. But usually I'm like, you know what? I'm a realist above anything else. I don't usually do a lot of homer picks. But I am gonna do that tonight. I'm gonna pick the Fighting Blackhawks, the Fighting Craig Collinses. Give me Cowan to win sectional 55. It's a homer pick, but I'll take my Blackhawks even though they're 10-11 on the season. They've won a sectional title under head coach Aaron Groves. They're 2-2 in sectional play under him, like as a whole in his career, not just this season against tournament opponents, but they're 2-2 in postseason play under him. In sectional play, and they're coming into the tournament on a 6-game winning streak. So they're getting hot at the right time. Yeah. So that means at one point they were 4-11, and they are just clicking on all cylinders right before tournament time. So give me Cowan to make the Sweet 16 in 1A.
You know what? I got to do it for you too. Give me Cowan, the Fighting Craig Collins, to bring home sectional 55.
All right, hey, I'm glad you're with me on that one. Sectional 56, that's the Blue River sectional, and I'm going to go with number 12, Seton Catholic. The Cardinals and Tri are the best two teams in the bracket. They have similar records, but Seton Catholic has been more dominant versus sectional opponents. Cardinals are 4-0 with a winning margin of 25 points. Tri is 3-1 with a winning margin of 11 points. So give me Seton Catholic to advance out of sectional 56.
Yeah, I'm going Seton Catholic here as well, but it's going to be a close one.
Sectional 57, the White River Valley sectional, and I'm going to go with number 5, Clay City. The Eels, first of all, mascot is the Eels. That's amazing. Awesome. The Eels have the best record in the bracket at 18-5 and defeated the team with the second best record in the bracket, number 15, Shakamak, who's 13-9. by 12 earlier this month. They have the 5th best defense, 20th in the state, allowing 43 points per game. So give me Clay City to advance out of sectional 57.
Yeah, I'll go with Clay City, the Eels as well.
Sectional 58. That's being hosted by Bethesda Christian. And I really, really, really wanted to go Indianapolis International here. The Griffins have the 3rd leading scorer in the state, Philip Randolph, who's averaging 28 points per game. And I even had them penciled in until I saw that this 8th-ranked Bethesda Christian squad beat International by 40 in January and has won their last 12 games. They were 5-7 after their first 12 games. With all 7 losses coming outside 1A play. So they had a really rough first half of their schedule. Then they got it more into 1A opponents, and they've just been running roughshod over everybody. So give me number 8, Bethesda Christian, to advance out of their home sectional.
I'll tell you what, playing up a class on your schedule, it really does prepare you very well for this time of year. So I'm taking Bethesda Christian here as well.
Sectional 59, that is the Indianapolis Lutheran sectional. And I'm going to go with number 10, Indianapolis Tinley. Tinley has the number 1 offense in 1A, 33rd in Indiana, averaging 64 points per game. They're also 6-0 versus 1A schools. They're 16-8, meaning they're above 500 with 10 wins, playing above Class 1A. So Tinley advances out of sectional 59.
Not so fast, my friend. I am taking Indianapolis Lutheran. According to maxpreps, they are the higher ranked team, coming in at 7th in the state, right, or 7th in 1A right now.
There you go. I mean, and look, they're the defending champs. They get hot at the right time. You never know.
Exactly.
Sectional 60. That is the Edinburgh sectional, and I'm going to go with the home team. They are 11-10, and that means they're the only team above 500 in the bracket. So give me Edinburgh to advance.
I'm going with Edinburgh here as well, not just because they are the only team above 500 in their bracket, but because they also hold the best pork tenderloin in the entire state of Indiana. I think it's at the Edinburgh Cafe. This deep fried pork tenderloin is as big as a cafeteria lunch tray. So yes, it looks so good. I'm going Edinburgh because, man, am I hungry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that makes me hungry now too. So I'm right there with you. Borden.
I'll send you a picture of what it looks like. Yeah,
do that.
Just picture Homer Simpson.
Borden is the host of sectional 61. And I'm going to go with number 4, Christian Academy. The number 4 team in 1A has the 10th best defense in the class, allowing 45 points per game. At 19-4, they have the best record in the bracket. They defeated the team with the second best record in the bracket, South Central Elizabeth, who is 16-6, by 45 points in December. And Borden, the host school, has the 3rd best record at 15-8, and Christian Academy won at Borden by 4 in January. So Christian Academy has been very strong against the other top teams in that sectional, so I think they're going to advance.
Yep, I'll take Christian Academy here as well. I really wanted to take the upset, but numbers don't lie.
Sectional 62, that is the new Washington sectional, and I'm going to go with Trinity Lutheran because at 11-11, the Cougars have the best record in the bracket. So give me Trinity Lutheran to advance.
Yep, I'll take Trinity Lutheran here as well. And not because I thought they were in Kentucky earlier.
Sectional 63, that is the Lagodi sectional, and in my opinion, I think sectional 63 is where Class 1A will be decided as far as the state champion is concerned. Because you've got 4 of the top 5 defenses in the state statistically. You've got number 1, Bar Reeve, who's 20-2. They're second in 1A, and the state, allowing 35 points per game. You've got number 3, Orleans. They're 19-3, first in the state, allowing 34 points per game. And number 7, Lagodi, who is 15-7. They're third in 1A, fourth in the state, allowing 38 points per game. And the games between these 3 teams were all decided by 3 points or less. On December 2nd, Bar Reeve won 40-37 over Orleans in 3 overtimes. On January 12th, Bar Reeve beat Lagodi by 2, 43-41, and on February 1st, Orleans beat Lagodi 35-32. So these are all close games. These are all really tough teams. I think it's going to come down to Bar Reeve and Orleans, and Orleans has the better offense, and I think they have, I know this is going to sound weird, I think Orleans has better losses than Bar Reeve does. The Bulldogs averaged 56 points per game, and their 3 losses came to Bar Reeve in 3 overtimes, 4A New Albany, and 2A Brownstown Central, who, like we talked about, has a Purdue commit and is a top 25 team in the state. Bar Reeve, on the other hand, averages 54 points per game, and their 2 losses came to number 5 in 1A Clay City and 4A Jasper, who's 13-9. So I'm going with Orleans to come out of sectional 63.
I totally know what you mean by good losses. It's that time of year. In college basketball, we're talking about that all the time. Hey, that was a good loss. It doesn't affect, but I'm going Bar Reeve here. Bar Reeve just has that tradition. And it just, when it comes to the state tournament, it's just one of those programs that just knows how to flip that switch. And considering they're the top ranked team right now in 1A, I mean, I have to go with Bar Reeve here. And I do agree. I think the state champion comes out of this sectional as well.
Final sectional of the night. We like I said, we try to do 64 sectionals in 64 minutes. We're just over 64 minutes. We started about 6 minutes in, and we're an hour and 10 minutes. So we're so close. Pretty much. I mean, we're basically
did get off topic a couple times in 4A.
Yes. Sectional 64, the Tecumseh sectional. And I'm going to go with number 2, Evansville Christian. The second-ranked team in 1A is 21-2 on the season. The team with the next best record in the bracket is 12-11. So Evansville Christian advances to regionals from sectional 64.
I'm taking Evansville Christian here as well.
So the final state championship pick of the night. I've gone with the number 1 team in the class. I've gone with a couple of number 3 teams in the class. So I was thinking about who I was going to pick for 1A, but like I said before, sectional 63 will decide who wins class 1A, and so that means I'm going with number 3 Orleans to win the class 1A title. Another team that I'm pretty sure hasn't made it out of regional play in their program history, but hey, you know what? I think this is the year. They're the best defense in the state, and their resume is really strong. Just talked about their 3 quality losses. All very good losses. They're also 9-1 versus 1A opponents this season, meaning that at 19-3, they're 10-2 playing above their class. It also means that they're a 3 overtime loss away from being perfect versus 1A opponents. So the Bulldogs get their first boys basketball state title. They're going to be your class 1A state champions.
I'm going, like I said earlier, I had my state champ for 1A coming out of sectional 63 as well. So I'm going with Bar Reeve.
All right. So we went 2 for 2. We went 2-2. We both have Fishers and Burbuff coming out of 4A and 3A respectively. And then you went with, who'd you go out of? You went Brownstown Central out of 2A. I went Wapahani. You go Bar Reeve out of 1A. I go Orleans out of 1A. So those are your state championship picks, your sectional picks, and those are who we have in the 1A tournament so far. So, or the state tournament for boys basketball so far. So, like we said before, the sectionals are underway right now. A lot of fun basketball being played. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. That will do it for the Crash Course podcast on the night. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Remember, you can like us on Facebook, 3C Media. Go follow us over on Twitter at 3C Media Sports. Go subscribe over on the YouTube channel. We're over 250 subscribers, so thank you guys all for your support, knocking it out of the park, liking videos, watching videos, doing all that stuff. We really appreciate it. Go over to the YouTube, or go over to the TikTok as well. Go ahead and subscribe there, or hit follow on there as well. 3C Media on that side. And remember, you can listen to us every week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts can be heard. You can hear the Crash Course podcast. You can find me at Crash Course FM on Twitter. B. Scott, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at Brandon_Scott87.
Next week, we will be previewing the IndyCar season. So a lot of cool things to dive into there. But until then, have a good week, everybody. Enjoy the sectionals for Indiana high school basketball.